What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Radiant Thoughts. It's your boy KP.
It's your girl Tori J.
You know, your dynamic duo is back in action on the couch with y'all today. You know what I'm saying? So before we get started, I want y'all to like the video. Before we even give y'all anything, just like it. Just because. Just like it, man. Leave a comment, subscribe, share it out to all your people as we get into it. But today we want to talk to y'all about the pressure young adults have to succeed in life and how it affects you and all that good stuff like that. So that's what we're going to be touching on for today's episode for y'all. So stay tuned in.
So the first thing I want to talk about is society's definition of success versus your own definition of success. I think that's very, very important because in this age, everything we see is on social media and everything looks like it's all sunshine and rainbows. Nobody posts the bad stuff, of course.
She stole that from me. Sunshines and rainbows.
People don't post the bad stuff that's going on in their lives. So I think just realizing that everything you see on social media, for one, is not true. It's not real life. And creating your own definition of success just because somebody has 1 million followers on Instagram and that's paying them and making them money, that doesn't mean that that's your version of success. Absolutely.
I feel like our versions of success vary person to person. You know, like I said before, success, my definition of success is whatever goal that I have. Once I reach it, that's, considered success. I think people look at what other people are doing too much and think that they need to have that in order to be successful. And that's not really true. Like you said, everything, we watch social media and literally on Instagram we got highlights. So people just highlight their life. So we got reels. So we got highlights and reels. People just do social media is just a highlight reel, literally. So those people's success and your success could be two completely different things. So with that being said, we have to understand, that everyone's success is different. We all have different routes. Everybody's dealt different cards in life. So you got to play your hand. You can't turn the cards back into the dealer. So we got different routes, different stories, different resources for everybody's different. We've had different, resources on, our path. So you have to understand that there are many different ways to get where you need to go or where you're trying to go. So don't be so caught up on one thing and you feel that pressure to just, I got to do it this way and this is the only way I can do it. Just relax, recoup and realize that this might not be the way, but it's other ways. I got many different avenues.
Just because something worked for somebody else doesn't mean that it's going to work for you.
Absolutely. I think that's common in every aspect of life, because we always see, everybody put stuff out there like, oh, this is how I did. This is the 1, 2, 3 step to get to this position. And those 1, 2, 3s might not work for you. No. You might need the ABCs, not the 1, 2, 3s.
Okay, so, Dr. Seuss.
With my Cat in the Hat vibes, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, can we do some yoga now?
Don't mind Siri, y'all. She's talking about yoga and stuff. I ain't even talking to her. But just understand that your success and somebody else's success can differ. Y'all can be shooting for the same thing and taking different routes. And but the thing is, don't knock somebody else for what they might be doing that's different from you. Just head down, stay focused on what you need to do, and just acknowledge that, there are different ways to do what you have to do.
And I feel like everyone's journey or path has a reason for teaching them something in life as well. So
absolutely.
I know, you may have downfalls and stuff like that you're like, I don't know why I'm going through this. Like, they didn't go through this, or why do I have to go through this to get to where I want to be and stuff like that. But everybody has their own unique journey. So I definitely think it's important to embrace that and learn how to navigate through it.
And that's what makes it special, though. you know, because if you follow somebody else's, you won't experience the same things that you should experience that might help you grow and develop. They might have to hit certain roadblocks and things along their journey that you've already dealt with before them. You know, so you already learned those lessons. You already took those bruises and those lumps. So you got to deal with something completely different. And that's a lot of times, that's probably why things don't work for other people, because
they're trying something that somebody else did.
Yeah, they trying something that somebody else did, and the mistakes that they made, you've already made those mistakes. So you're putting yourself through something that you don't even need to be putting yourself through. You're past that. So just pay attention to those things. Pay attention to those signs as you're on your path to, you know, your success.
Another thing I want to talk about is like the perception of success in the Black community. I feel like it's good and bad in a way, because I feel like it's always a pressure to like get out in a way, like get out of your neighborhood and stuff like that, which is fine. But the thing is, my issue with that is, okay, you're telling these people you need to get out, you need to do this, but what are you doing to help them? What examples are you setting for them to see around them? Like, if somebody is constantly being told, oh, you need to get out, you need to do this, you need to do this, and everybody around them is doing everything that they telling them not to do, what motivation is that supposed to be? That's like the same with the people that tell kids to, or tell young adults to get out of, you know, the streets or leave the streets alone, but don't provide them with the avenue. So when you're pressuring kids to just get out of their neighborhoods or like to just go be better, then you have to, for one, they have to see it. It helps to see it, and it also helps to be a guide to wherever they, you know, whatever you're telling them to go, you have to be some form of help. So without the help, it's like, you telling me this, but I don't even know where I'm going. I have no direction. So I think it's just like, I mean, I know gratefully we've had Black people in power in certain positions. For example, Barack Obama, like just people like that. But at the same time, those people are so far out of reach that it's more impactful when
it's in your community. You
got your cousin over here who's the mayor, or your uncle over here who's the governor of, you know, like stuff like that. So I think it's very important that you see it firsthand. Because if you see it firsthand, like that's how you know it's attainable. Like, man, my cousin owned this store right here. Like, so I can go talk to my cousin. You know, it's kind of hard to go talk to Obama. It's more impactful when it's at home. Absolutely. When it's closer in reach, for sure. So, for sure. And if you go tell somebody what they need to do, make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. For one, make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, because you can talk it, but that's why a lot of people don't listen, because you're not living up to what you say you are. But at the same time, we should be receptive to any knowledge that we get, but don't be hard preaching to me and you not practicing it. Absolutely. You know, yourself. So, and with that being said, if you're gonna, you know, make them talk to them about doing certain things, be a helping hand, guide them to where you want them, or where you think they should be going. You know, don't just sit there and talk their ear off. You know what I'm saying? We get that a lot. Talk is cheap. Because talk is very cheap. If you ain't helping, quit talking to me. Because I got to get there somehow. And if I need, hey, you need to be doing this, how I do it, I don't know. So that's another thing I want to talk about is the parental expectations. So I know from certain perspectives, just in general, it's hard. Like, a parent will tell you, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to be better than me, you need to do this. But then they don't give you the resources or help you get to where they want you to be, and they expect you to reach that point. But how am I supposed to reach that point when I don't have the support? Right. Yeah, I think the parental aspect of it, I think most kids, that's besides peer pressure, I think parental pressure is like the biggest pressure, because all through school, you know, I was brought up to kind of, when you leave my house, you know, you're representing my house, which is fine. I'm representing my family, everyone in my family when I walk out the house. So
having that pressure to make sure you're doing the right thing at all times, because you don't want to be an embarrassment and stuff like that. Like if I go get a C in the class or something, I'm a failure type of thing. As parents who are like that, you need to recognize that that's stress that you putting on your child. Yes, you putting pressure on them to succeed, because of course we want our children to be successful in life, but we're putting unnecessary stress that, you know, eventually can drag them down.
So do you feel like you've experienced that, like, at all with like family in general, not just parents, but?
Yeah, for sure. More so like what I just spoke about, representing my family every time I walk out of the household. You know, that was a big thing that I was always told. But besides that, you know, just the pressure of making sure I'm doing right in school. And, you know, when you have you get bad grades sometimes. So I think life happens, and sometimes parents don't realize that life happens to everybody. And I think I kind of dealt with that a little bit, but not directly. Like I would do things and it would be put off on other people, the things that I'm doing. So it wouldn't be pressure to me. It would be pressure to maybe my siblings or other people in the family. And so I don't think pressure never really bothered me, I guess. So if it was pressure on me, I couldn't really tell, and I ain't just bragging or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? a little lightweight, you know, it's lightweight. But like I could tell when I had, like, I knew when the pressure was on and I had to go, you know, succeed. But
I feel like with that though, because I feel like I've experienced that myself. Like I feel like my parents put a lot of pressure on me to be successful, which is good, but at the same time you have to realize like what that also does internally as well, emotionally, I guess. Because if it's a sense where I fail, I feel like I've completely like messed up everything. Like
absolutely.
I've ruined the whole plan we've made. I'm not gonna go anywhere after this. Like this is it.
Yeah, because it does take its toll on mental health.
Absolutely.
And so when pressure is too heavy, when you it's like succeed or don't walk in my house,
right?
You know, that puts a stress on the child to where it's like, well, I have to do this, or there's nothing, or I'm disowned, because you see people get disowned from their families for like not doing certain things. So I think when it gets to that point, y'all doing a little bit too much. A little bit too much. You know, you have to be, because if they don't experience failure or experience a mistake without being able to understand the mistake, correct the mistake, and get through it, that one time when they do fail, like you said, it's the end of the world. So, and that one end of the world might cause them to not even recover. I've like seen that plenty of times, to where straight A student get 1 C, their parents flip, and next thing you know, they just flunk out of everything because they can't recover from that one situation. So, but like you said, some form of like pressure of wanting your kids to succeed is good. I feel like there should be a necessary amount of pressure.
I wouldn't call it pressure. There should be encouragement to succeed. I don't think putting pressure on your child
but like, you know, the pressure make diamonds, you know what I'm saying? It's either gonna bust your pipes or make, you know, you're gonna form a diamond, you know. So that's kind of how I look at it as well. Under certain circumstances, not that there should be immense pressure that like to where it's negative on you, but in the aspect of you're going to have some pressures to succeed. And if you don't have those, like, encouragement is fine, but you should have that, like, hey, you got to go out there and perform, though. I'm encouraging you, but you got to go perform for your sake, not for my sake.
Let's take an example. Say a person, like, for example, my parents were always like, you're going to go join this organization. You're going to do this. You're going to do this. You're going to be in the front. You're going to lead it. You're going to, like, but for a person that's like that, and say they get to a point where it's everybody's parents in the background has done this for them. It's going to make it 10 times harder to compete to try to be in the front and say you don't get in the front. Now your parents are like, oh, you didn't win. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to, what does that do to you? A healthy pressure, not to where it's
what is considered healthy. I would say healthy pressure is putting a battery in like your child's back, like more so like if you don't perform, it's because of the effort that you put in.
Right.
Like I'm pushing you from here, but not forcibly, if that makes sense. Like making them understand that, hey, you have to pass this class because you told me you want to go to college. You want to have, college paid for you. So what you need to do is pass this class.
I think giving an explanation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's certain. That's still a certain amount of pressure that's applied because, like, okay, now I know it's internal pressure though. It's not pressure of like, I'm gonna be exiled if I don't get.
But I feel like that's how GPA. Normally,
yeah, that's how it is.
It's never, I want you to succeed because da 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 da. It's, you ain't got no other choice but to succeed. More so.
Yeah, but we don't have no other choice.
I get that, but I'm just saying, like, in the sense, like, if you fail, okay, they're not gonna accept that. Like, they're not gonna help me get through that.
Even what I just said, though, now I just said that and I'm thinking, like, not necessarily that I've been conditioned to think, like, I have no other choice but to succeed. But I think we grow up, like, no choice but to succeed. And I think that's just due to where we come from and the things that we experience on a daily, like, it puts us in situations to where we're like, if I want to get out of here, I think that's the healthy pressure. If I want to change my situation, I know I have to do X, Y, and Z.
But also, I feel like it's important to talk about when you don't succeed, what to do.
That it's okay.
That it's okay, but also how to get through that.
Oh, how to get through it, for sure.
Or what to even, you know what I mean? Like how to get through it, how to talk through it, how to everything. Like, I don't feel like that's really talked about either.
Right.
That's why I'm saying the perspective, like, it's this or no way.
Okay.
Versus, like, it's this, but if you get here, here's how we're going to get through it.
Here's how we're going to navigate. Yeah. Absolutely. So what would be some examples that you would give to navigate, if you're in those situations, like, you take a class, let's say you fail the class, and you've never failed the class before. How do you navigate from that situation when the pressure's on?
I mean, I think it just depends on your parents' perspective as well, because I went through that, and I know one parent is more of a let's talk through this versus I'm gonna yell at you about it. Right. So I think I didn't tell the other parent that was going to yell at me about it, but the parent that talked through it was like my dad, he was just like, it's not the end of the world. Like, you're going to be okay. This is what you need to do to move forward. Like, okay, let's come up with a plan versus something different would have been, well, what did you do wrong? Why did you do that?
Absolutely.
That's not helpful. I already failed. So, like, now what? You yelling at me is not going to help me go past the class again. Right.
So just that talking to and finding a way to navigate through the situation pretty much will be, I think that's fair for sure. Just talking to a person and helping them, like, hey, all right, this has happened, so now we got to do X, Y, and Z to get back to where we want to be. It's not the end of the world. We got more time, but this is what we going. The route might be longer, might be different, but this is how we're gonna get there. So I think that's 100% a way to navigate those situations. So the next thing I wanted to discuss was the comparison of success amongst, like, our peers and what we see our friends doing, and compared to where we might be in life, or where we might be compared to where they might be, So I think it's important that, and when I say peer pressure, I don't mean like peers pressuring you to do, drugs or anything, but just the peer pressure that we have when we see other friends succeeding and we feel like we're stuck. So, and that plays back into what I said earlier, that we all have different routes that we might take to get to certain places. But when, we might have a friend that if I went straight into the workforce and I'm doing fine for myself, I might have a friend that's in college struggling, to pay bills or struggling to graduate. So there are many different levels and areas that you can go. And so if you're comparing, your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10, you can, it causes you to stress, yourself out to a point to where it's unhealthy for you. So that can affect you and affect those around you,
and affect your success as well.
Yeah,
because
for
make
sure.
you psych yourself out.
Absolutely. It'll stunt your growth almost, because you feel like you're not doing enough.
You're not going to get to that point.
And you start to rush and you skip over things that you might need to go through experiences that you might need to have. But since you're rushing, you don't get to experience those situations. And so that can stunt your growth. You might never make it to where you want it to get, because, I got to get here now. And I think, me personally, I've experienced that plenty of times. It's something I deal with on the daily, just because for me, I know where I want to be in life. And I've had, I want to be a millionaire before I'm 30 type of thing. And where did I get that from? Probably social media. I've always said I wanted to be a millionaire as a kid, but most millionaires don't become millionaires to their 50s.
Right.
So where I got 30 from, probably because I seen other people that were 30 on Instagram talking about they millionaires. So
yeah.
But also I use that as a driving force. 'Cause I know it might not happen, but it's also that, shoot for the moon, but if you miss, you still be amongst the stars. But don't take it to a point to where you're overdoing yourself and you're pissed at yourself when you don't hit certain milestones at certain times. Like JB spoke on it in the episode that he doesn't set goals, time frames for certain goals, because you set a time frame and you don't hit in that time frame, then you man, dang, I'm behind. So I kind of started to look at it just take steps
Day by day,
one foot in front of the other. And once you hit those milestones, you succeeded, you've done something.
Right.
So, but just take your time. And that's what I had to realize. Now, don't be lazy.
Of course not.
But take your time and get to where you need to be. Don't feel the pressure from outside, or don't allow the pressure from outside to seep in, because then that's going to cause other issues. When you start looking left and right instead of just tunnel vision, it starts to take a toll on you, for sure.
And give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. I do think as long as you're doing everything in your ability to get where you need to be, you're on the right track.
You're on the right track. I was thinking about that earlier when we, said we was going to speak about this topic, that as long as you doing the necessary things, you can't ask for more. Whether if you're going at a slower pace, faster pace, you making those steps, that's way better than not taking the steps at all.
Absolutely.
So as long as you taking the steps, you making strides to becoming a better person. So just don't let the outside noise rattle you. You gotta be poised and locked in under pressure.
I want to say a disclaimer as well. I know the stuff that we talk about, I just want to say we deal with these same things that we're talking about, trying to figure them out, navigate through them, struggling through all of the stuff that we're talking about. So even the topic today is something that I personally feel like I struggle with, and I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah.
So just because we're saying these things, please don't think that we have it all together.
Yeah,
because
I ain't
we
got
do
it all
not.
together. My object with this podcast is to reach young adults my age that we're all going through similar things. So I know if I'm experiencing these things, if she's experiencing these things, then 9 times out of 10, other people are too. And so the things that I'm learning and experiencing, I want to be able to come talk to you guys as I, make my way through this, so we can all grow together. And that's why, the feedback is important. If you experience some things, if you think I might be wrong, she might be wrong, or you have more to add to a conversation, it's good to just, tap in.
Or even if it's something that you've experienced that we are talking about and you agree with like the tactics that we're trying to come up with to help other people get through this stuff as we're dealing with it ourselves. That would be helpful too.
For sure. Was it each one reach one, teach one? So simple as that. That's how I feel with this. So if something that we might have said helped you and you have a reach to someone else, spread the information if you think it's good information. If you don't, spread it anyways. So yeah, but now, like I said before, pressure either gonna make diamonds or bust pipes. Some amount of pressure is healthy in order to get you to the next level. If you don't feel no pressure and you just take the easy route, then you might hit a nice little roadblock somewhere along the line. So it's cool to make those mistakes early on. Take your lumps, take your losses, so you know how to get to the next step. Like, what you did to overcome those losses beforehand, and you know that, okay, this is how I got over this. So now you can strategize to do something else, when another loss comes.
Absolutely.
So, for sure.
So I want to close out by giving y'all a couple quotes that I found just after researching for like this episode and stuff, just coming up with ideas. So the first one is by Charles Barkley. If you're afraid of failure, you don't deserve to be successful.
That's a banger. That's a banger. You can't be afraid. For sure.
And the other one is you learn more in failure than you ever do in success.
Absolutely. That's just pretty much what I just spoke on right there. You take them L's, them losses. I say this all the time. A loss ain't a loss. It's a lesson. Appreciate the pain. It's a blessing. Jay-Z on Bo. Bo like Wendy's. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness.
So
okay. I'm going to read one more. It's by Booker T. Washington. Success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles at which he has overcome while trying to succeed.
It's banger, Booker T. Washington. And it's Black History Month. So, and those are all Black folks that we just gave y'all. So, and this month, do some research on Black history. I made a post the other day about looking into the character that the people in the civil rights movement like had and how they carried themselves. And if we want to do the same things that they did in a way, we have to have some sort of character about ourselves. So I want y'all to study up on some civil rights movement leaders and just pay close attention to the certain things that they did. They also had a whole lot of pressure, way more pressure than we ever had. So, and they were dealing with and doing the things that they were doing. So just something to think about. But appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. This has been another episode of Radiant Thoughts, man. Check this out on all podcast outlets, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all that. So run it up for your boy. Like this, comment, subscribe, share. Let us know what you took from the episode and how you're going to apply it to your life. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, pressure bust pipes or make diamonds. You going to be a diamond? Or you going to be like them little broken pipes that get busted and water be shooting everywhere? And yeah, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that. So, but this is Radiant Thoughts and we out, baby.